I'm kind of crushing his army, but I have no survivors at the end that do actual damage, because as elite, as always, with this much chaff as elite and this much investment into arclights, you really don't have much damage. I decided to take the Mustang production. I have really been enjoying the production items. Fortunately, redeployment allows me to fix this arclight positioning, and it's going to take a position here. And now we are thoroughly into Fortress Arclight. A unit composition that I'm very much so enjoying. There's currently no need to go for Mustangs, so they get sold and a lot of levels come down. I also sold one of these sledgehammer packs and decided to just put some very destructive crawlers, not crawlers, fangs here. They can make some of these typhoons go back, they can make these crawlers go back, and they can allow me to get other stuff done. I think he sold his own arclight. He also puts a missile here that's going to make this side a lot more vulnerable. But there's a fortress here that can potentially get some work done. Shields on typhoons, they have been nerfed quite heavily. And it's not without being deserved. Let's be perfectly honest here. The steel boars have started, or at least one steel boar has started lasering a fortress. I don't necessarily think these steel boars, no, they didn't accomplish anything, and the worm apparently got beaconed wrong. So now there's only the crawlers going for that, though the main fight isn't looking particularly amazing for me right now. As much as barrier has been nerfed, it still is a good ability. Although technically nothing has died other than chaff, my army without chaff is just nothingness. Almost. And once again, it's a win with most of my importance alive. This time we have some actual damage. It is round 7, and here comes a nuke. My opponent is pretty well shielded, but all of his shields can get destroyed pretty quickly. Very quickly, let's be honest. He decides to put the amp core on the sandworm. This thing can now probably actually win against the fort, if I'm honest. Meanwhile, I've decided to just reinforce the middle with this fort. Let's speed this up a little bit. 2 more sandworms on the way. Another fortress on the way for me, and 2 more arclights. Now this tower has an actual defense force that is protecting it, and the Mustang spawns are going to be very annoying to anything that doesn't like to shoot many small targets. Like, for example, steel boars. Phoenixes here, there's no protection against it, but there's a shield on this tower, and the tower itself is level 3 as well, so it's going to be a hot minute until these Phoenixes get anything done, if they are going to get anything done at all. Most units have already been killed, but now the worms, along with Replicate, are on. Well, the Phoenixes are going to get an Arclight killed, and that is actually meaningful in a way. This much worm is enough to kill the fort. However, this side has absolutely gotten crushed. Tower goes down in my favor. That means this Arclight is getting so much work done. It's going to die now, but, you know. That is the fate of an Arclight that's shooting worms. It does still take a lot of damage to kill it. Because of the tower debuff. And my opponent is almost down. Well, here's a bunch of things that can really shake up the game. Vulcan's always a fan favorite among certain peoples. Primarily 201 players. But also Rhino. And you know what? I have lost a game in the past. I'm not sure if I uploaded it. Could be, could also not be. Where a Rhino was just, yeah. I was into a lot of worms, and my opponent got dropped a high-level Rhino, and blew up all my worms with it. So now I'm going to do the same to my opponent, hopefully. Rhino, straight towards these worms. There always is a chance that they are going to completely ignore this side and just absolutely hammer down on this side. combining with all of these units. My opponent does have shields here, but they are not going to cover much. This Rhino probably going to get killed by the Fortress and the Arclights if it goes in without support. Now these can shield something, but they might already get destroyed if they are this close to the line. Rhino also directly opposing. Towers are level 2 and level 3. Another worm for my opponent. Could technically buy another one. He doesn't though, by the looks of things. Well, he should absolutely buy out here. The attack squad is mobile beaconed straight to my tower, and he just hits all the buttons. I'm pretty sure he didn't have time to position this worm accordingly. Boom, that's a lot of units, although not as many as one might assume. Fortress currently still standing tall, some chaff in front, including the Mustangs, very important here. This fight is already almost over. In the long run, Typhoons are just no match for carry Arclights. This tower is now, well, it has been level 3 already. He just put level 1 Phoenixes here and apparently reinforced the other side with other Phoenixes. The core of my army is still alive, and these Arclights are not messing around. Under tower debuffs, they aren't messing around even a small degree. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. Anyway, Blood-a-boom. Carry Arc Fort Defense. If you ever look for something to counter Steel Balls and Typhoons, this is it. And they apparently can also deal with worms if they have some fortresses backing them up. Like, this could very much so be a board that I would play in Standard versus Standard. Minus the really big asymmetry. And of course the Arclights in the flank. But yeah. I like it. I like it. So, apparently both of us seem to be better in defense than in offense. Last time he crushed me. This time I crushed him. I'm gonna be interested to see how the next game goes when we face off against each other again. Let's also see if there's a way that my opponent could have won this final round. Alright, attempt number 2, after the first one spectacularly failed. Apparently EMP melters aren't it, or maybe I've been doing it wrong. There is a possibility that both of these are true. So what really worked well is just mobile beaconing them away, because the steel balls are just going to laser down the Rhino and it basically dies for free. And that Rhino is a huge investment here. So next, probably try and take the Scorpions. Let's just take the Scorpions to reinforce here. Also, I would like to redeploy these Phoenixes and basically reinforce this side. And so that not everything gets taken out by a single missile, I'm just going to put them here. And then we go like into range and double shot, as my cat is nagging me again and again. We should also definitely missile this. And I guess we should somewhat, like, what can we do to delay this Arclight? What's the most effective way to delay this Arclight? It probably actually is just ranking up the tower once. We should also definitely get all of these upgrades. Then mobile beacon these units and reinforce this push in the middle. And finally, let's just distract some of these units with a very cheap flank distraction and missile out this chaff. And see how it goes. So as you can see, this Rhino is just going to get lasered out of existence. Hopefully the steel balls move away as well. Nope, most of them did not. Well, half of them did not. Crawlers have been delayed, and that opened up the front for these Rhinos to for these Scorpions to shoot real hard. As the Phoenix Squadron is starting to take the tower, this should now be it. This is looking good. Scorpions keep blasting at the fortresses and Arclights alike from the rear. This tower is still standing strong, the other tower is still standing strong, and the army is basically wiped out. This is looking like GG to me. As there is nothing left, well, maybe not GG. I probably would have had the health to weather that storm. But it most definitely is a win. And it's a good margin of damage. Though most of that is because I didn't defend my tower properly. Like, let's be honest, this win would not have been as clear-cut, at least, without the tower dying. The tower, even though it was level 3, is still doing a good job at slowing my army down. Alright. Well, in that case, I think scorpions definitely were the correct answer. They can just blast stuff. So thanks again for watching and listening, and I hope to see you next time.